Once upon a time, in a peaceful village surrounded by green hills and colorful flowers, there lived a young girl named Lily. Lily had long, wavy golden hair, bright blue eyes that sparkled like the morning sky, and a gentle smile that made everyone around her feel happy. She lived in a small wooden house with her grandmother, and she loved exploring the meadows and picking flowers. One bright morning, Lily woke up early and decided to go on a long walk through the hills. She packed a small basket with fresh apples, a little bottle of water, and her favorite soft blanket. She waved goodbye to her grandmother and started walking along a winding path covered with soft green grass. As she walked, Lily saw many beautiful things. She saw butterflies with colorful wings dancing in the air. She saw rabbits hopping through the tall grass. She heard birds singing sweet songs in the trees. Everything made her feel so happy and peaceful. After walking for a long time, Lily came to a quiet meadow she had never seen before. In the middle of the meadow was a big, old tree with wide branches that stretched out like welcoming arms. The tree looked very wise and very old. Lily felt drawn to it, so she walked closer and sat down beneath its shade. She spread out her blanket and took out her apples. As she sat there eating, she noticed something strange. A small, colorful bird with bright blue feathers landed on one of the tree's branches. The bird looked at Lily and tilted its head, as if it wanted to tell her something. Lily smiled and said softly, "Hello, little bird. Are you lost?" The bird chirped once and flew down to sit beside her. It seemed to be waiting for something. Lily reached into her basket and broke off a small piece of her apple. She held it out gently. The little bird hopped closer and ate the piece from her hand. After eating, the bird flew up into the tree and brought back a small, shiny feather. It dropped the feather into Lily's lap. Lily picked up the feather and looked at it carefully. It shimmered with many colors in the sunlight. She felt that this feather was very special. She put it safely in her basket and smiled at the bird. "Thank you," she said softly. From that day on, Lily visited the old tree often. The little bird became her friend. They would sit together under the tree, sharing apples and watching the clouds drift across the sky. Lily learned that the most beautiful things in life are the simple moments, like sitting under a tree, sharing an apple with a friend, and feeling peaceful and happy. The lesson is, sometimes the greatest treasures are not gold or jewels, but quiet moments of kindness and friendship. Once upon a time, in a big sunny desert with golden sand dunes and a bright blue sky, there lived a young camel named Sandy. Sandy had light brown fur, long eyelashes to protect his eyes from the sun, and two soft humps on his back. He lived with his family in a peaceful oasis where there were tall palm trees and a cool water spring. Every day, Sandy loved to walk slowly across the warm sand. He enjoyed feeling the sun on his back and watching the little lizards run across the dunes. But Sandy had a problem. He was very shy. When other camels gathered to play or talk, he usually stayed quietly by himself. One very hot afternoon, a strong wind began to blow across the desert. It grew stronger and stronger until it became a big sandstorm. The wind howled and the sand flew everywhere, making it hard to see. All the camels ran to find shelter. Sandy was walking far from the oasis, when the storm started. He couldn't see where he was going. The sand stung his eyes and made it hard to breathe. He felt very scared and lonely. Suddenly, Sandy heard a weak sound through the wind. It was a little desert fox who had also gotten lost in the storm. The fox was much smaller than Sandy and was shaking with fear. Even though Sandy was scared too, he remembered how it felt to be alone. He slowly walked toward the sound, using his big body to block the wind and protect the little fox. He knelt down so the fox could hide beside him, using Sandy's warm fur as shelter from the blowing sand. They stayed together like that for a long time, until the storm finally passed. When the wind stopped and the sky became clear again, Sandy gently helped the little fox find his way back to his family near some rocks. The fox's family was so thankful. They invited Sandy to visit them whenever he wanted. From that day on, Sandy wasn't shy anymore. He learned that being kind to others, even when you feel scared, can help you make wonderful new friends. The lesson is, being kind to others, even when you're scared, can help you find friendship. Once upon a time, in a big sunny desert with golden sand dunes and a bright blue sky, there lived a clever little desert fox named Finn. Finn had soft reddish fur, big pointy ears, and a bushy tail with a white tip. He lived in a cozy den under a rocky hill, near a small oasis with a few palm trees. Finn loved exploring the desert, but he was always very careful. He knew the desert could be hot and dangerous, so he drank water only when he needed it and rested in the shade during the hottest part of the day. One very hot afternoon, Finn was walking across the sand when he saw something unusual. A big tortoise was stuck on its back near a sand dune. The tortoise had short legs and couldn't flip itself over. It looked tired and helpless under the burning sun. Finn felt sorry for the tortoise. He walked closer and gently used his nose to push the tortoise's shell. He pushed and pushed with all his strength. It was not easy, but slowly the tortoise began to roll. Finally, with one big push, the tortoise flipped back onto its feet. The tortoise looked at Finn with grateful eyes and said, "Thank you, little fox. You saved me from the hot sun. I was afraid I would dry up here." Finn smiled and said, "I'm glad I could help you." The tortoise then told Finn a secret. There was a hidden water spring nearby with the sweetest, coolest water in the whole desert. The tortoise led Finn to the secret spring. They drank the fresh water together and became good friends. From that day on, Finn and the tortoise helped each other. Finn would warn the tortoise about dangers, and the tortoise would share cool, shady spots with Finn. Finn learned that even small acts of kindness can create strong friendships that last a long time. The lesson is, helping others can bring you wonderful new friends. Once upon a time, in a big sunny desert with golden sand dunes and a bright blue sky, there lived a gentle desert hare named Milo. Milo had soft, sandy-colored fur that helped him hide in the desert, long, floppy ears that could hear the smallest sounds, and big, bright eyes that sparkled with kindness. He lived in a cozy burrow under a rocky hill where it was cool during the hot days. Every morning, when the sun was still gentle, Milo liked to hop quietly across the sand. He loved feeling the warm sand under his paws and watching the sun rise slowly over the dunes. One very hot afternoon, while Milo was resting in the shade of a big rock, he heard a tiny, sad sound. It was a little desert sparrow with a hurt wing. The poor bird had fallen from the sky and couldn't fly anymore. She was sitting on the hot sand, looking very scared and tired. Milo felt sorry for the little bird. He hopped closer and said in his soft voice, "Don't worry, little friend, I will help you." Even though the sun was very hot, Milo carefully dug a small, cool hole in the sand using his strong back legs. He gently carried the little bird in his mouth and placed her inside the cool hole so she wouldn't burn her feet on the hot sand. Then Milo hopped all the way to the nearest oasis to get some water. He soaked a big leaf with cool water and brought it back for the bird to drink. The little sparrow drank slowly and felt much better. Milo stayed with her all afternoon, keeping her cool with his shadow and sharing some sweet berries he had found. When the sun began to set and the desert became cooler, the little bird's wing felt stronger. She tried to flap her wings and found she could fly again. Before she flew away, she sang the sweetest song for Milo to thank him. From that day on, the little sparrow would often visit Milo, singing beautiful songs for him while he rested in the shade. Milo learned that even the smallest creatures can help each other, and that being kind is always worth it, no matter how hot the desert is. The lesson is, kindness always makes the world a little brighter. Once upon a time, in a big sunny desert with golden sand dunes and a bright blue sky, there lived a beautiful desert owl named Luna. Luna had soft brown and white feathers, big golden eyes that could see very far, and strong wings for flying quietly at night. She lived in a small hole in a tall rock cliff where it was cool and safe. Luna liked to rest during the hot day and fly when the desert became cool at night. She would spread her wings and glide silently over the sand, watching everything below her. One evening, as the sun was slowly setting and painting the sky with beautiful orange and pink colors, Luna was sitting on her favorite rock. Suddenly, she heard a small, sad cry coming from far away. Luna opened her big golden eyes, turned her head, and listened carefully. The sound was very weak, but she could hear it clearly. She spread her wings and flew quietly across the desert, following the sound. After flying for a while, Luna landed gently on the sand. She saw a little baby lizard stuck deep inside a narrow crack between two big rocks. The baby lizard was trying to climb out, but the rocks were too steep and his little legs were too short. The baby lizard looked very scared and very tired. The sun was still hot and the sand around him was burning. Luna felt very sorry for the little one. She hopped closer to the crack and spoke in her softest, kindest voice. "Don't worry, little friend. I am here to help you." Luna started working very slowly and carefully. She used her strong beak to move small stones away, one by one. It was not easy work. She had to be very gentle because she didn't want to hurt the baby lizard. Sometimes the stones were heavy and she had to rest for a moment before continuing. After a long time, the crack became a little wider. The baby lizard tried again, and this time he could move his body a little bit. Luna kept working, moving more stones, until finally the baby lizard was able to climb out of the crack. The baby lizard was so happy. He ran around in circles on the sand, his little tail wiggling with joy. Luna watched him with a gentle smile in her golden eyes. Just then, they heard another sound. It was the baby lizard's mother calling for him. When the mother saw her baby safe, she was so thankful. She looked at Luna and said, "Thank you so much for saving my child. You are very kind." From that day on, Luna and the lizards became good friends. Luna would fly above them during the night, watching over them and keeping them safe. And the lizards would tell Luna where to find the coolest, shadiest spots to rest during the hot day. Luna learned that even though she was a big owl and the lizards were very small, they could still help each other and become true friends. The lesson is, helping others creates beautiful friendships.